Hello, so I am Manish Tiwari. I am here to explain the concept of nested loop. So let us first talk about what are the loops. So loops are the concept in Python which allow us to iterate a value from a list from a number. In Python we have two types of loops which are for loop and while loop. For loop, if we have definite range, we know from what value we want to use. So there we will use for loop. And if we are uncertain about the limit, so there we have to use the while loop. So next, let us talk about the let us talk about the very important topic in Python, which is nested loop. So nested loops are a power programming concept. They allow for complex iteration and data processing. So so let us understand the meaning of nested loop. So a nested loop is a loop inside another loop. Means if we are already having a loop and we are putting another loop inside it. So first outer loop will execute and then inner will do. What is the structure of the nested loop? It contains two loops actually. First is outer loop and another is inner loop. Inner loop is contained in the outer loop. So why we use the nested loop here? So if we having a very complex data, very big data, unordered data like list, tables, 2D dimensional things. So there we can use to access the data in an easy manner because it will increase the efficiency of our codes. So nested loops can be powerful but maybe impact in performance for them. So it means that we should also care for that while executing these nested loops. So now let us talk about the types of loops. As I already said, there are two loops in Python which are for and while loop. In for loop, in nested for loop, we we can have for while loop, while loop, double for loop, and also mixed loop. So let us now talk working with the nested loop. So first is initialization. We have to set up the loop variables, which may be global and local both variables. For first for loop, we have to assign global, and for second for inner loop, we have to assign local variables. Also, we have to ensure the proper initialization to avoid infinite loops. We should check the range if they are definite or not like that. We also have to verify the conditions for both outer and inner loops. Inner loop condition may be depend on the outer loops, and it will also depend on the type of data. So now coming to the execution. Inner loop completes full cycle for each outer loop iteration. Like that, like the iteration of the inner loop depends on the outer loop. Okay, then let's come on what will happen. Termination. Loop when the loop will complete its job. Loop ends when conditions are false. It ensures that all loops terminate to prevent runtime errors. Means if the condition of the respective loops satisfy, then loops is automatically stops there. So to explain in a deeper nested loop, I have taken some of the example. So let us go there. So this is the first problem I have taken. So I have created a for loop to the range 4. Okay, this is the outer loop which control the number of rows. I will actually create a pattern of hash which will contain a certain rows and certain column. Okay, so this is the outer loop, this is the outer loop, and this loop runs 4 times where it has a respective values I is equal to 0 1 2 3. Okay, so it, it will it will run 4 times, and inner loop which is this for j in range 4 times, it is the inner loop. Okay, this loop also run 4 times because I have taken the range 4. So the j will have value 0, 1, 2, and 3. And here I have taken the print statement inside the inner loop, because here we want our whatever we want, we have to give our the condition and have to print. So I have printed here has and in equal to 0 to take a new line. Okay, it will ensure printing the stays on the same line with the space between has, so it will like that. Now I have taken a empty print statement to move to the next line after inner loops completes one by one. Okay, so let's execute the code. So here you can see the pattern what I wanted is here. So here I have uses the nested loop, outer loop and inner loop. Now let us take another example. I have taken one more example which is based on the nested loop only. So this is the problem in which the problem statement says given a positive integers, return a list of all prime numbers from 1 to up to this number. So as input I have to give a specific positive number which will be a natural number. So it will return the list of all prime numbers from 1 to that number. Okay, so let us have a look in our VS code. So here is the problem. The problem statement is here, given a positive return list of all prime numbers from 1 to this number. Okay, I have taken the help of comments. Is my code. I will not write the code. I will explain the code, whatever it here. So firstly, I have defined a prime numbers function in which I will take the input as a number. Okay. Now I have created empty list. I have initialized the code with an empty list to store whatever the prime numbers will be. Okay. Now you can see I have taken the first outer for loop, which will iterate through all the numbers from 3 to given the number. If it's saying 3 because we know that prime numbers start from 3 and 2 is we already that 2 is a prime number. Okay, so that's why I have taken this. So here firstly I am assuming that the number is a prime number. Okay, now I have come to the inner loop, which is checking that if the number is divisible by any number between 2 and that number, so it will not then a prime number. So I have taken a for range from 2 to num, which will take the value from 2 to n minus 1 because the last value is excluded. So my condition inside the inner loop is if number if the remainder of number and I is 0, so it will be it will not be a prime number. So I have taken is prime equal to false, and after that I have used the break to exit the loop as early I get what output I want. Okay, then I have taken the again if condition if is prime. So after coming out of this loop, if it not satisfies, then it will come here, and if is prime is true, then then that value will be appended to that list, the which is the prime list, named prime list. So at last we will return the prime list. So after all, I want to convey that this is the working of our for loop or for nested loop. So let us conclude all the thing. So nested loop are very a great tool for solving a multi-dimensional data, big data, and if we are having big structured data like list, dictionaries, so we need them. So they are very helpful to use in Python programming. So this was all about I whatever I want to convey, I want to explain about a nested loop. So thank you so much for watching video. Thank you.